Welcome to the Do Show. If you are watching or streaming this episode, thank you so much for tuning in. I have a great show for you guys today. My guest for today is an actor, model, and film producer. You might know him from the hit movie The Click and from the fantasy drama film One Fall. He is starring and producing in the comedy film Reboot Camp, which had premiered at the Austin Film Festival just this past October. I said festival, not festival. I said festival, not festival. I messed that up. But make some noise for my man, Kelly Price. What's up?
I love the introduction, man. I love it.
This is all live. I'm just, my mentor told me, even if you mess up, don't edit. People love the authenticity.
I do that all the time. Keep rolling.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up? What's good? How you been, man?
Dude, I've been well. I'm healthy. I'm working. My family's good. So there are things I can complain about, but I'm not going to do it. We'll say that for later.
Yeah. You know, I love everything that you do, man. I this is not even what I'm supposed to talk about right now, but I actually did my research and found out that you were back in 2007. You were on a show on Nickelodeon called The Naked Brothers Band. You had played the role of Bobby Love, and can I tell you? Before I even knew about Nickelodeon, like in general, I did watch that show a lot. Like, just take me back for a sec. What was it like shooting for that show?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I'm shooting a movie right now, and yeah, you've never had to shoot in the circumstances that we're dealing with right now. So,
Yeah.
that being said, yeah, everything that I've shot before the pandemic is just different, obviously, for obvious reasons. But in 2007, I don't know if there were so many differences other than that from shooting, other than the fact that I was younger. You know, it was one of my first sets. I think it was the second job I ever did.
Really? Wow.
Second I ever did. It was the first network thing I ever did. I had done one thing before that. It was a short film directed by this woman named Tara Anderson and produced by this guy named Ken Regan. And Ken Regan was a photographer for all the Rolling Stones photographs. Every Stone photograph that you see was photographed by Ken Regan. And so that movie was right before that. I learned a little bit from working with them, and they were great. But the Naked Brothers Band, that was different, man. I mean, I walked on set, and there was a stage, and I was just like rocking on stage in front of like 400 extras, and my uncle came to the set. He was an extra in movies, and I invited him to the set to be an extra, and I'll never forget that day, because since my uncle's passed away, but that day was one of the most crucial moments in my entire life and my entire career, because it steered me in the direction that I ended up going. I'm getting a little teary-eyed talking about it, but my uncle and I we had like a stroll during lunch, and he says, I always knew that I'd see you up there one day.
Yeah.
And he's like, it makes my life to be in the audience and look up at you.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. And it was, yeah, it was the moment that literally made my career.
Wow, man, I love that. I really love that story. Man, I don't know why, but when I found out about you, you really were a big inspiration to me because, you know, throughout you doing that and then other projects I've seen you done, I mean, it's incredible. You're an incredible person, incredible film producer. I saw your story about how you started as a model when you were younger and you just grew up to be this person that was, you know, on screen doing these films, and now you're directing your own movies, and it's incredible, man. I love it, for real. Like, I remember when a friend of mine introduced me to you. You were like, you gotta check out this guy named Kelly Price. I was like, who's Kelly Price? And they knew I'm a big Nickelodeon fan. A lot of people know I'm a big Nickelodeon fan. I grew up watching Nickelodeon than anything else, and right before iCarly had premiered, it was the Naked Brothers Band. That's how I found out, because Miranda Cosgrove was on the Naked Brothers Band for one, about two part. It was like a part one, part two episode, and man, I'm really grateful. Thanks for stopping by the show. I know you starred. I know you starred and produced in the recent comedy film titled Reboot Camp with David Lipper from Fuller House and Lindsay Shaw from Pretty Little Liars. How did that film Reboot Camp come about? What started it all?
Yeah, so David Lipper and we did a movie together in Hong Kong called Underdogs Rising, and we got close and we came back to the States. I had a movie that was premiering in the States. I invited him to the premiere. And at the premiere, he started talking to me about this movie, Reboot Camp. One thing led to another, and here we are now. The movie just won the Audience Award at the Austin Film Festival. And I started it with David Lipper and Jazz Bono and Lindsay Shaw, Ja Rule, Ed Begley. It was a really fun cast. And I was able to produce it too, which was great.
Hey man, you guys got to check out that trailer, Reboot Camp. That's a great. I remember when I saw that. I remember people were advertising for that, and I was surprised because I saw somebody else who was in that film. Man, she was from another Nickelodeon show. It was called, and my cousins loved this show. I think it was called Ned's Classified Survival something.
Lindsay Shaw.
Lindsay Shaw. That's what it was. Yes, that's who she is. Yeah, Lindsay Shaw. Everybody was like telling me, "You're gonna have this person on the show. You're gonna do this." I'm like, "Yeah, he was working with these actors and actresses, and man, really, again, it's such an honor, and I'm glad to see all this come about in a film that actually was." In a different setting. It wasn't always. It's not everything you do is not always in theater, but it's in different production companies and different. It's played on different screens, which I really love because you're very. I feel like you're very you're a very open mind person, which I love.
Oh, thank you, man.
Did you have any fears or regrets when it came to deciding this is going to be my job for the rest of my life, or for the majority of my life, basically?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, for sure. When you're doing something like this, it's a very, very. I don't want to say it's a hard job because when you're on set and you're doing it, it's the greatest job in the world. I mean, it's literally the best. And the key is to not get egotistical about it and heady about it, because when you come off the set, you're just like everybody else. And then, you just because there are people catering to you or whatever it is, you can't go home and still feel like, that's your life, because it's just the workplace. And so, I think getting back to your question, I think that there are always fears when it comes to the unknown, right? And this industry is very unknown, so you never know when the next job is going to come. And so but at the end of the day, like, if you feel it, do it. And like you said, I think when you phrased the question, you said something about regrets. I'm not sure, but that's the word that popped in my head, because if I didn't do it, and if I don't do it, then I'm going to live the rest of my life regretting the fact that I didn't, because it's what I love. And so, when you take that into account, the fears and stuff just subside. And again, when you're on set and you feel that, and you're not running from audition to audition and all that stuff, and you're on set and you're feeling it, that's everything right there. And you're just like, I want to feel that again. I want to feel it again, and I want it again, I want it again, because that's what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to be here with these people doing this thing, sending some sort of message or whatever it is. Sometimes I'm doing a movie where I'm able to, give back in some sort of way by playing a role or being a piece in a greater puzzle that's giving back in some way. But sometimes you're just making entertainment, which is great too.
Yeah. that's my dream. That's always been my dream, and even now, going and pursuing what I love, like with nobody's voice telling me, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that." It's almost like the thing that comes natural to you, as easy as breathing, is something that I found when it comes to playing music, when it comes to talking to a camera, when it comes to talking to an audience, just socializing, and then creating music and the entertainment, what the entertainment industry is all about, entertaining people and just making people laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I love.
yeah, I think that's that. Like I said, I keep saying this. I hate saying this every time I film this show, but I tell people all the time. I started the show right when the coronavirus, not right when the coronavirus hit, but about a few months after it. It dawned on me. I was like, why not start something that will actually act like the Ellen Show, or be something that's like, okay, be kind to one another, and, give out this positivity and good vibes, because people will give off they love that energy. Everybody wants good in their life. We got enough negativity around us. That we don't even ask for as individuals. And I think the greatest thing that we can get right now is something to look forward to, something to just be like, oh man, I really love that guy in that show, or him going here and doing this. Like, it makes such a positive impact, and that's one of the things that I've seen you do, with a lot of people who follow you, on social media platforms, and even before social media. I wanted to talk about the recent movie you directed. I don't know if it was recent, but I know it's coming out in 2021, if I am not mistaken. On Thin Ice, if that's correct. Yeah. What was the man? I got all day. I mean, before I let you go, please tell me, what was that process, man? What was that concept behind that whole film? Because, man, I can tell it's just something that I really want to go see right now. Like, I was like, is it out? Is it really out? Man, like, no, it's coming. It's coming. Someone told me it's coming out in next year. I'm like, oh man, what was the concept? How did that whole thing come about?
I appreciate it, man. And first of all, I have to say, I love that you started this right at the pandemic, because people can go both ways. They can either go like in the positive direction or in the negative. I love that you started this show and did something positive. So I just wanted to say that. But getting back to the movie, that will probably be one of the most personal movies that I've ever or will ever make. I mean, it was about my great grandfather. So it was an ode to him. It was about athletes not being able to compete due to race, religion, sexual orientation, country of origin. My great grandfather was a Jewish speed skater from Poland in the 1930s. So he wasn't able to compete in the Olympics because of who he was, because at the time, it was just a different time. And so it was just heartbreaking growing up hearing his stories that, he worked his entire life for the Olympics, and because of who he was, something he couldn't change, he wasn't able to do it. And so I saw that all these athletes today were still dealing with discrimination. And I said, I've got to do something for them. And so I went and I interviewed Robbie Rogers, who was the first openly gay soccer player. I interviewed Michael Sam. I interviewed Greg Louganis. I interviewed all these athletes that have had these stories of, inequality, or just what it was like for them dealing with being different in sports and in life. And that's a little bit about the movie, and then a little bit after making the film, all the athletes started to come together and kneel for the national anthem, and everything that I had thought and everything that we had done and years of making this movie, it was just this big culmination of, this is really important right now.
Yeah, I really believe that it's so important for people to be the biggest fan. Be your biggest fan. Be you. Be brave. Be you. I tell people that all the time, especially in the music industry. And I'm not even in it that much, but people think I have all this knowledge. I'm like, nah, man, I just learned from the greats. And the best thing that you can be is you. Be your biggest fan. Don't hide anything, because it's going to come to light sooner or later. I think the worst thing you can do, one of the worst things you can do as a musician, as an actor, as an individual, as somebody who loves to express themselves but never wants to show it in public, is to live in a lie. And that's one thing I always teach everybody else. Don't live in a lie for so long, because you're going to start to get depressed. You're going to start to get sad. You're not going to want to do anything in life anymore, because no one knows what you're going through. And all you think about is, all these things and all these thoughts in your head about, man, I wish this and I wish that. And I hate when people are in that state of mind, because I was in that state of mind for a pretty long time. And everybody knows I don't like getting personal on the show, but it's something that really gets to me, because I was in a dark place, man. I really was, when it came to knowing what I really love to do. But no one saw that in me. And of course, I don't have a lot of music. I'm not like musically, like my family is not always musically inclined. Like they're not. I didn't grow up in a musical family. So when you mention a dude's name, it's like, oh gosh, like dude, he's just out of this world. He's just doing everything. Like it's something that doesn't come, like when people mention a dude, it's like, oh, it's not normal. A dude's not normal. It's not like everybody else. And that's what I really want people to know, that being different is what you're supposed to be. Everybody in this life is different. Everybody has their own way of going through life. Everybody's walk of life is different. And I really enjoy hearing people's stories and backgrounds and everything they've been through up to now in the future. I think it's just because I have an open mind, and I'm not scared about oh, this person's gonna harm me, or I don't think this is right for me to hear, or no, man. I really believe that now we need to, as a people, know we need to accept people's differences. Your differences is what makes you unique. And man, a lot of people don't want to hear that. And I know a lot of people are going to tell me. I know a lot of my friends are going to be like, man, that spoke to me. That really touched me. I'm like, then tell your parents that. Tell your uncle that. Tell your other friends that. Because you're not just placed on this earth just to exist. You're here to do something. You're here to make a great impact. And man, I'm just here to shed light in the midst of darkness. I get inspired by you too much, man. I don't know why. I love all that you're doing, man.
I loved that, dude. That was really cool.
Hey, man, I'm trying. I'm still learning. Like even now, I'm learning how to do all this. This is all brand new. Never done anything like a talk show before. I don't even call it a podcast. People call it a podcast, but I really love daytime television. Like I watch daytime television a whole lot. So it's just something that I picked up, and I didn't know I loved talking to a camera. I thought it was something interesting. I never done it before. I was like, that's why I love trying stuff new, because you never know if you're going to be good at it. So I'm just like, I'm going to tack on this, and that, because way back in 2009, I was all about drums. That's it. That's all I knew. That's all I wanted to do. Yeah. But as I've grown, as everybody does, of course, you discover your gifts and talents, and I'm still knowing and still figuring out. Well, I know what I want to do. It's not even figuring out, but I now know why I love doing this. I know what I'm going to do, so embrace that. I want people to embrace, and I pray that everybody's embraced and not just hide that and push it to the side and think that it's, not useful. It's not going to make you any money. But man, if you don't jump, if you're not gonna know if your parachute will ever open. You gotta jump. I know I'm quoting Steve Harvey right now, but that's truth. I can only speak the truth, man. But you know what? I mean, that's that.
Oh, yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier about regrets and stuff, and just going for it and doing it. That's how you find out who you are, what you're meant to do, and all those things. And it's so sad when people don't jump, like you said, because they're worried about, they have all those fears. But it goes back to our first question, like, you just got to do it. If you're feeling it, you just got to do it. And you might, fall on your face or whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty positive that if you're feeling something and you go for it, then you'll get something out of it. Maybe you'll find out, what, I'm not meant to do this for my life, but this is something I need to do on the side or whatever it is. But if you don't do it, you're never gonna know. You're gonna live in regret, and that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it really does. That's why I tell people, stay true to your craft. Everything's gonna be all right. And look, I know my time is up, man. I want to thank you so much for coming on, stopping by. You guys really got to check out this movie that's going to come out next year, On Thin Ice. I got to go see this movie. I really got to go see this movie. I don't, usually when I say certain things, I don't go see it. I'm going to go see this movie. I got to. Y'all, go see On Thin Ice, man. I love your story. I love you, man. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be right back. Hey man, that's all the time that I have for today. I would like to thank my guest Kelly Price for stopping by. If you would like to view clips from today's show, just head on over to Adu's YouTube channel for more exclusive content. That's me. Also, if you want to stream full episodes, head on over to Castbox.fm or Anchor.fm. Both are available for download on the Google Play Store and App Store. And finally, make sure to tune into The Dew Show, only on YouTube.com. Stay cool, live life.